All right, let's now get straight into our conversation for tonight. The recent announcement by Professor Tomi about forming a shadow cabinet has stirred public interest and raised important political and legal questions. At the heart of this is a conversation about democratic engagement, the role of opposition in governance, and report of attention from the DSS. The Department of State Services has now dragged political economist and former presidential candidate, Professor Tomi, before the Federal High Court. And according to the DSS, the mere act of assembly a shadow cabinet violates the Constitution, poses a national security threat, and might embolden separatist groups. The DSS contends that such a move could incite political unrest and destabilize the country. So it became very important that we unpack what this means within the framework of Nigeria's Constitution and political landscape. And to help us do justice to the conversation, so we're clear about what the Constitution says with no room for further confusion, two legal luminaries joining me tonight, Mr. Tony Daniel, a lawyer and political affairs analyst, and also joining us virtually, Mr. Akingbolu, also a legal practitioner. Gentlemen, thank you a lot for joining us on Politics Tonight. Good evening to you.
It's a pleasure for having me.
All right. So let me start with you, Mr. Akingbolu. Just straight to the point. Is a shadow government legal?
Well, it is, as I know, I can tell you very well, once there is a government in place, nobody has the right, nobody has the freedom to make such expression that can, threaten the existence of government or that can force people to hate the person of government. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. When you do this, it has become a treasonable felony. Freedom of speech has its own limitations in Section 45. That when you are making comments, it has to be a justified one. But any comment that tends to show that you are trying to organize, or you are trying to implore people to set up a parallel government against the constitutional government in place is an offense. And people forget. Well, the person involved, whoever, is an elder statesman in his own right, but such comment is not justified by anybody under any means, under any guise. It is a comment that can cause a lot of issues, that can cause chaos, that can lead to breakdown of law and order. And no government will fold its arms to see this kind of thing happen without fighting it. So the government has taken the proper step for, by arraigning him. Let the court look at if he's guilty or not guilty. I am aware, that things are not good in the country. Welfare of the people are not too good. However, there are legal ways for you to criticize government. It is not my position that people should not criticize government, but then you criticize government in a constructive way, not in a destructive way. Okay. The way he chose the word is destructive.
So we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a moment. So we'll get to that in a moment, Mr. Akingbolu. But if the proper definitions to the word shadow government is very clear, just as you've put it, but it's still generating debate and this kind of controversy. Some believe that a shadow government has not historically functioned as institutionalized or effective alternatives to the ruling government. So why is the DSS involved? What jurisdiction does the DSS have in this matter?
Now, let me tell you, when you say a shadow government, you need to go to a functional definition or to a normal definition that a common man will understand. You are talking about a parallel government that will be against the government of the day, that will not take order from the government of the day, that will attack the government of the day in a repugnant manner. That is what we call a shadow government. A government has been voted for, a government is in place. So when you make this kind of comment, I am telling you, it is not healthy at all for our democracy. That is just the definition. When you tell a shadow government in this context, that's what it means.
So you think it was very important for the DSS to have gotten involved?
Yeah, it's a proactive measure. They have invited. And don't forget, the primary duty of the DSS is against terrorism and this kind of offenses, threat to life. You understand? It's not like ordinary power of police not like the ordinary power of civil defense, not like the ordinary power of soldiers. They have their own, this is spelled out, the powers, and it's part of this terrorism. Because when you look at the shadow government, it can graduate or lead to breakdown of law and order, which can also be a sister to terrorism.
All right.
So that is why you cannot
because of how sensitive this issue has now degenerated into, and the kind of controversy that has now sprung up as a result of this conversation, we do not want to rely just purely on opinion. So that's why I want us to help us with the constitutional back into this conversation, because there are some Nigerians who do not think the DSS should have gotten involved. They believe that, yes, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria vests executive authority in the president, but the Constitution also guarantees freedom of association, speech, and political participation. Nowhere does it criminalize civic organizing, policy critique, or opposition formation. As a constitutional lawyer, you may see these things differently. So what does the Constitution say about a shadow government in a democratic system of government?
I get it. By Section 130 of the Constitution, the president is the chief executive officer of the country. Is the alter ego of the entire country. So security comes first. Upon coming into existence, every human being, every citizen of Nigeria have donated their power to the state. And in return, the state says, I will protect you. However, when there is a government in place, it is part of the civic duties to criticize them by freedom of expression. Freedom of association, you can form political party, you can air your view, you can impart ideas, but if you are imparting idea in a forceful way, in a way that we say, oh, we want a shadow government, no, it is not allowed for anybody, I stand to be corrected, to say so. You can say government is not performing. You can say government has not done this. You can say government has not done that. You can say government has failed. You can do anything that is within your power. That is within your right. That is within your priority as a citizen to comment, freedom of speech. You can talk, you can criticize government, but not to invite a shadow government. Okay. A shadow government is an opposition government that will be that will be taking, that will be giving orders differently. Imagine, for instance, look at what is happening in the East, for instance. Those are the kind of things that may happen if the kind of comment made by Patutomi is allowed to stand. And don't forget, Patutomi is not just a common citizen around. So anything he says carries a lot of weight. Before you know it, now law will be broken down in Lagos. There will be breaking down of law another in the southeast. There will be breaking down of law. There could be breakdown of law another in the south. And it can go around the country. And before it engulfs the country, the government should take a proactive measure. People may say it's a violation of his right. Well, he will have his day in court. It will be a different thing if the DSS are kept him incommunicado. But it's not so. They are taking him before the court. Whether his comment is not justified or not, the court will not determine it, because the matter is now sub judice. There is an extent to which we can talk about his culpability or otherwise. So this is the issue.
But at the same time, Mr. Akingbolu, no date has been fixed yet.